palpable. We check her trachea by finding the sternal notch, and I notice that it's midline. That's good. To check the thyroid, we can go from behind. We'd have her take sips of water, and we would feel for that on the sides of the trachea. Go ahead and swallow. And again. And that's just really hard to feel. That would be the thyroid. Anything else on your neck? I'll feel for the carotid arteries. I'll feel for a pulse. Perfect. Perfect. And to check for any kind of stenosis, we can listen for a whirring with the bell of our stethoscope. So we'll go ahead and listen with the bell. Which there are none. Perfect. Next, we're going to start with the upper extremities. And her skin is warm, dry, intact. There's no marks. Beautiful. Go ahead and grip my hands. And she has equal strength. I check her fingernails for capillary refill. She has good circulation. It turns, after blanching it, it turns pink after less than 2 seconds. For dehydration, we can check her skin turgor, and there is no tenting. It goes back pretty fast. Perfect. We'll check her pulses. We can check our radial pulse in one wrist. Beautiful. And in the other. And radial pulse up from your thumb. Radial and, brachial pulse. Here we go. Which I think is a lot easier to feel in a baby. Brachial pulse. And a brachial pulse. Perfect. We'll check for her reflexes. We can check a biceps reflex. Relax. And you know what? Let's check them across the board. We'll check one and check the other. And quite honestly, they're hard to feel. And here. Go a little bit, and the triceps tendon. All right, and relax. Small. All right, upper extremities. Chest and posterior thorax. As we're checking that, we're looking at our respirations, or even they're unlabored. We're going to check the spinal processes down her back. And they are evenly spaced, and any tenderness at all?
No.
Good. We can check for thoracic expansion while she's here by placing my thumbs right around the T10 area and having her take a deep breath and see that the thumbs are symmetrical on either side. And again. Good. Good, so we have symmetrical movement. Next thing we'll do is we'll check for tactile fremitus. Normally we wouldn't do this with clothes on. It needs to be on bare skin, but we'll take what we got. I would like you to just say 99.
99. 99. 99.
And always assessing each
99.
side,
99.
side to side.
99. 99. 99.
Good. The next thing we can do is we can percuss over those exact same areas, finding hyperresonance in the lung areas and dullness. In between the scapula there. All right. To assess for diaphragmatic excursion, what we would do is I would have her exhale, and starting at the scapulas, we would percuss all the way down to where we felt dullness. Then I would have her inhale until we got to dullness again. I would mark those 2 spots and then repeat that process on the other side. And then we would measure that distance, and they should be equal right at about 3 to 5 centimeters. And that would be for diaphragmatic excursion. Since we're back here, we can assess the kidneys and see if she has any pain there by testing the costovertebral angle. And do you have any pain there?
No.
No. Beautiful. So there's no tenderness there. The next thing we would do is we would assess her breath sounds back here. And with an open mouth, I want you to take a slow, deep breath in and out. And we're going to switch that to the diaphragm so I can hear. Here we go. And again. Good, take a break. The bronchovesicular sounds, we have normal inspiration and expiration, and when we get to the vesicular breath sounds, they're a little bit lower pitched with a longer expiration along the bottom lobe of those lungs. So, anterior thorax. So we'll move to the front. Oh, here we go. We would inspect the chest for any lesions. Again, her respirations are even in a labor. We don't see any kind of distension with any of the neck veins. So we'll listen to a couple heart sounds. We'll listen over the aortic, the pulmonic, and the tricuspid valve here. But let's start off with the point of maximal impulse over the apex, and that's right under the midclavicular line and the 5th intercostal space. Perfect. We can listen for the aortic and the pulmonic valve. And down the sternum, we would listen for the tricuspid and the mitral. We'll assess the lungs from the front side, and we'll do quite the same, side to side. I'll have you take a deep breath through your mouth. There's no rales, rhonchi, or wheezes, but if she had any wheezes or a little bit of crackles, I would have her cough and see if that wouldn't maybe clear some of that in there. The next thing we would do is we would do a tactile fremitus again, having her repeat 99, checking symmetry across the whole way. And we can also check diaphragmatic expansion anteriorly. The same thing, having her take a deep breath, putting our thumbs just above the umbilicus and take a deep breath. And watch for the expansion between my thumbs to make sure that that was even and symmetrical on both sides. Beautiful. Next we'll check the abdomen. I'll have you lay on your back.